What's up there, niece and nephew? It's your big uncle, the Conor McGregor of expat relocation.
Our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland, and it's high time that America is made aware of what is going on in Ireland.
I am over here with my big nephew, cousin, uncle, stepbrother from the great island of Ireland. And he is got a story for you today as to why he got out of the Emerald Isles. We're going to get into it. But before we do, I want to remind you all that if you get hemmed up with the dengue in a developing country and you don't have health insurance, that's going to be a problem. That's why this video is sponsored by Safety Wing. What's up, guys? I'm in Mysore, India. I'm chilling with this cow here. If this cow were to give me mad cow disease, I would want to have health insurance. And if you're going to live as an expat, you're going to want to have health insurance too. He's either biting me or licking me. He's licking me. Aw, hello.
It's so cute.
See, if I get sick from touching this cow, I want to have health insurance, right? So Safety Wing is a good health insurance for people like me who travel around the world and live in interesting places. I'm covered. If I get sick in India, at least I got health insurance. Safety Wing is designed for people who move around and who travel, so it's the perfect health insurance for people who live our kind of lifestyle. I am back, and tell us a little bit about why you decided to leave Ireland.
I guess, man, I had a series of unfulfilling jobs. I was left unrequited in my work life. I previously lived in Asia before, and I always missed it. I never got that warm, wholesome feeling I got when I used to teach, and I wanted it back again, so I returned. And I'm very happy to be back.
Nice. So you had spent some time in Asia before. Where were you in the past?
9 years ago, I was living in Hanoi, and I was teaching there, doing kindergarten on the go. Thoroughly enjoyed it, always missed it. So it seemed just logical and normal for me, whilst I still have energy in my bones to get back in here into the life.
Nice. And do you find that you're having a higher quality of life in Southeast Asia than you would in Western Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. So they have like a living crisis in Ireland now. I was living in the Netherlands for 7 years, and
Mm.
I pay 5 times less what I would pay in the Netherlands or Ireland for where I'm living here now. You can stretch your money so far, so wide, so broadly. And then, of course, you don't have to work as often. You get to enjoy your life a little bit more. There's more leisure time. You're not in the rat race as hard. It's, I think, something everyone should try and do at some point in their lives if they can.
So, what does it look like in your hometown in Ireland for an apartment? What's like the average cost of a one bedroom where you're from?
Oh, you're talking like €1,000 easy, especially in the cities. They don't have enough houses for people there right now. I don't know what the government are playing at. The queues for viewing might even go on for a kilometer. It's really, really bad over there. In the Netherlands, it's not as bad as Ireland, but it's almost, it feels like winning the lottery almost, rather than skill navigating the housing market there. A basic studio is going to cost you like €1,100 in the Netherlands easy. And that's in the Randstad of Amsterdam, which is like in your inner core. Even outer core is still going to be pretty expensive for you. So coming over here, stretching your euros farther is the only option, I think, for a lot of people. You're not running away, you're not surrendering, you're giving yourself over to a better lifestyle in a more practical way as well too.
And are you competing for housing with the illegal migrants also? Like, or how is that working?
Essentially, yes. So they are being prioritized over actual homebred Irish citizens, people whose names are ancient and have been around for thousands of years, in lieu of someone over from the Middle East, basically coming over, getting benefits, getting housing, everything like that. When I was living in the Netherlands, I dated a girl from Iran. I was living in an Egyptian guy's room for €475 a month, and the government gave her free health insurance, free Dutch lessons at the university, and a brand new spanking new studio, which would cost you like easily like 1700 euro. And she got a weekly allowance of about €150 as well too. So I'm there, barely making ends meet, just about on the cusp of broke, and she just got handed the keys to the kingdom essentially, and that's what's going on everywhere, unfortunately. I haven't lived in Ireland full time for 12 years, but my brothers who live in the city tell me that that's the score basically. It's a bit of a takeover over there, and it's happening at quite an alarming speed as well too. So I hope the fighting Irish get their spirit back and take the island back, because I don't recognize. I was there for 6 weeks. You don't recognize the country that you lived in, which is frightening and sad.
Yeah, like I just think it's a shame because I have Irish family as well. I'm half Irish, and you look at that's a culture that didn't colonize anybody. In fact, were colonized. They don't really have any obligation to these people that are coming in because they never conquered anybody. There's not even a moral question there, and yet they're being treated better than the local citizens. So it's not really surprising that I'm getting a lot of Irish clients. I'm getting a lot of clients from the UK. I am happy to see that they're getting in the streets in the UK. But I say more UK clients this year than I've ever gotten, and more Irish clients this year than I've ever gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was coming down from Dublin Airport, I was going through. I live quite a bit west away from Dublin Airport, so you got to go through a lot of villages, hamlets, etc. And the amount of like free Palestine slogans, pride flags all on these small village walls and streets is shocking. I couldn't really believe it, honestly, because we're so stout-hearted when it comes to our independence, and just to see the country hand it over, the government just give it away like a handout is, it feels like a betrayal, honestly, to you, and very, very explicitly un-Irish as well too. That's not what we're about. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some sort of improvement, but being over there, you felt like you were in the minority if you came to being patriotic, loving your country, your history, stuff like that. It's insidious and evil as well too. They don't. It just feels like traitors are in charge. So I hope it gets sorted there soon. Thankfully, that's not something I have to hear because it's not appointed politically here. Thankfully, but yeah, it's going down over there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, to be honest, I follow it because I have an affinity for Ireland, obviously. My father's whole side of the family is from the south of Ireland, so I have a definite appreciation for that culture, and it carries on into North America and New York and New England. There's a lot of people who are Irish ancestry who spent a lot of money to send weapons over to help Ireland gain its independence and to support the Irish throughout the years. So it's quite disappointing to see them just lay down and hand over their country the way they are. But for my business, I take no joy in it. But it is good for me because I've been getting a lot of really decent people coming from Ireland, and that's their loss. They're losing it's a brain drain. They're losing their generation that's productive, and they're instead getting cheap migrant labor. But all the people in Ireland who have skills, like they're going other places, and now a lot of them are coming to Southeast Asia because you can have a decent living, and people in Southeast Asia will largely leave you alone as long as you stay out of the domestic politics. I mean, we're like aliens there anyway, right? So as long as you don't have too much opinion on their government, you mind your own business, they really do let you live.
Yeah, 100%. Just expats oftentimes kind of like group together over here, but loads of people have friends with locals. When I was living in the Netherlands, none of my friends were friends with any of the Dutch, but there's plenty of people that are friendly with the Vietnamese over here. They're explicitly welcoming. I feel like I'm given my privacy. And as you said, if you keep your mouth shut and you just kind of like you don't live too loudly, then you're perfectly at ease to live however you like here.
And what is your cost of living looking like these days? Over because you gave us a little idea about what an apartment might cost in Ireland. So what is your life looking like now in Saigon?
Oh, basically now, like I go from being a second class citizen maybe in my own country to being like a first class one here. My rent is like less than €300. My grocery bill is like 100. You can get takeout every night of the week. You can go to a restaurant. You can have appetizers. You can have desserts. You can stretch it really, really hard. I've been to Da Nang and Hoi An already on a little trip. The upgrade you get is kind of staggering as well too. And if you couple that, you hustle and work hard with your teaching, and you find the joy in it, it's really so much a better life over here.
Well, that's great to hear. And how did you find working with us, brother? Was it helpful?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be particularly tech savvy. Also, navigating all the Facebook groups, who is a reputable school to work with, because sometimes they can be kind of fast and loose with the foreigners over here, not paying you on time, sending you to a crappy school. I needed that guidance and that encouragement to know who was right to work with and who not. Also, getting a visa as well too. Who do I contact? There's like a million Facebook pages. I don't know who is reputable, who is trustworthy. You can stretch your money hard, but you don't want to just be handing it away to anyone who's going to fuck you in the end, kind of.
Yeah, and I think it's naive. People think, when they watch a lot of these travel channels, they tend to think that the way things are portrayed online is the way that they're going to play out in reality. And sometimes that looks different ways. Like sometimes that looks like crazy paranoid foreigner who doesn't trust anybody. Sometimes that looks like naive foreigner who thinks the entire world is innocent, like where they come from. And they don't realize that there are bad people out there that will take advantage of you if you don't know about the business culture, if you're trying to work in the country, if you don't have a degree and you're trying to work in the country. There's a lot of people that will take advantage of you. And one of the things that does kind of save you is that you have a pretty strong passport. So you're somewhat of a valuable commodity in terms of the teaching market. Like if you had a passport from like Nigeria, it would be difficult to even get you a tourist visa. So having that Irish passport, like, it still does open doors for you overseas, even if it doesn't open doors for you at home.
Yeah, absolutely. The passport will open doors for you, and if you come correct and you are a competent person, you can open many more doors here as well too, and they swing very, very wide as well too. Allowing yourself to have such great grounds for employment without a degree as well too is fantastic. I earn really well here. I get as many hours as I want as well too, and I love teaching. So I feel like I've gotten the keys to the kingdom, and it's working out really, really well here. But yeah, you can. It's not idyllic. It's not a utopia. It's not a first world country. So walk with your back straight, be polite, and try and do your best. But I would urge people to don't close your mind off to ever thinking about emigrating. It seems like a scary leap, but you should definitely try and go for it, especially whilst you're still young.
Yeah, and I think, you're never going to really immigrate because the Vietnamese will never let you stay. But if you'd want to be there for like a long period of time, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can get a teaching job. After 55, it gets very hard to get you a work permit, but before 55, that's an option. You can invest and open a company and you can sponsor yourself. That's probably the best way if you plan to stay long term. That's what we tend to do for retirees. You can also marry a local, but bear in mind that your visa is attached to the local and you'll need to renew it. So anytime that relationship doesn't work out, you're asked out. And say you have a kid with a local, that kid belongs to the local. If you own a business in Vietnam with your partner, that business belongs to your partner. You can fight
Mhm.
them, and if you're fully everything's the way it's supposed to be, you can fight them. But it's not going to be like an egalitarian situation like in the West. So there are things you need to bear in mind coming to Vietnam, and I'm not trying to paint an unrealistic picture. It is a communist dictatorship, but in reality, guys, you are not living in the same society as the local people are, and you're also coming into the society and what I would say is like the upper middle class.
Yeah, essentially, that's true. You see a lot of horror stories up on the Facebook pages. Oh, I married a local and I had a visa, and now we're getting divorced, and is it going defunct? So, yeah, you can marry a local and stuff like that, but make sure it's the right one.
I have friends who have stayed married in Vietnam for years, man. And you can find a wonderful partner in Vietnam if that's what you're looking for. But you do need to be careful because it is a developing country. So I really feel a lot of sympathy for like the online Asian dating app guys who like fall in love with some random girl they find on like a dating app. When you know how it is when you come over there, bro. Like it's you just really got to be there, and you will find a partner if that's what you're looking for. It won't be like in the West. Like you'll have a partner as quick as you want one. It's just about finding someone who's a decent person and who has their own money. That would be my biggest suggestion. If you are going to date locals in Vietnam, make sure that they're locals that are already established, and that way there's not this perverse incentive involved.
Yeah, as you said, your passport is your key to another life over here, and that's what they see as well too. First and foremost, oftentimes, certainly your more scrupulous ones. So yeah, you can date over here. They are wonderful over here as well too. Very familial, very conservative. So it wouldn't be that hard to find a partner, but a decent one, yeah, that's going to be a bit more difficult. Just kind of, I would urge caution and try not to be naive and understand your situation. You are kind of oftentimes money to them, so be careful.
Yeah, and don't underestimate cultural differences. And that's not only with dating, that's also with business. There's a lot of things that you may read the wrong way. And you think, oh, no, I'm not going to read something the wrong way. You are going to read shit the wrong way because people are coming from two completely different worlds that are intersecting in this situation. When you work in Vietnam, when you deal with business culture, the mindset couldn't be more different than the West. But that doesn't mean you can't make it work. It just takes you a little time to clock how things work. And it could be a great place to set up a business, long-term investments. Vietnam's growing really fast. And, a lot of people use English teaching to leverage the time, so they have a longer runway to get a business going or to improve themselves and, upskill, whatever their goals are. Like I came to Vietnam, I worked in the public schools for 5 years, and now I'm location independent and I could do consulting. I get people jobs in Vietnam, even when I'm hanging out in other countries. So it's just what you can create for yourself is limitless as long as you respect the culture, which is all we would ask people to do when they come to our countries. Respect the culture, and just try to have local friends. Don't try to be only in expat bubbles, because if you're only around other expats, you're going to misunderstand the country a lot. Get in there, be cool, make your money. Don't try to save the day. Don't try to change the Vietnamese. And they're good. They'll let you make money. They'll let you stay. There's always a way for you to be out there.
Yeah, 100%. There's not that many barriers to work here, but if you come correct, you behave yourself, you're granting yourself a huge opportunity to make a better future for yourself. And you can think long terms about things considering how much that you earn here, particularly from teaching as well too. So I would urge people or anyone that is watching this to give your service a shot and definitely come over and give it a try. That, oh, teaching, I won't be able to do it. You absolutely can do it. It's a skill. You can teach yourself, you can get better, and you can make friends with the locals. You can think about your future. I'm thinking about mine currently, maybe opening up a business. I don't know, but let's see how everything goes.
What are some of the things from Ireland that you're missing? Are you able to find some Irish comfort foods? Are you able to like get Guinness or whatever it is you guys drink over there?
Yeah, I can. I not so many comfort foods because cuisine isn't really a thing in Ireland. We don't have too many traditional dishes. What I'd say we have that is really good is the produce and all your dairy, all your vegetables, everything like that comes from just down the road. So that tastes fantastic. But yeah, you can get Guinness over here, but Guinness basically is only good in Ireland because it doesn't travel very well. The only place you can get it good is over there from the source. I had one the other night. It was ghastly. Never again.
Well, you got soda bread, man. Soda bread's traditional Irish, corned beef, cabbage, right?
A lot of cultures can claim soda bread, but
That's great. So you wouldn't go back at this point. It just doesn't feel like home anymore to you.
not particularly. So when I left the Netherlands, I went home just for 6 weeks just to get a bit of mum cooking and stuff, and I did my reconnaissance there and that, and it just culturally, you miss the banter and stuff like that, but it's become very politically pointed over there. You're worried about things you might say or disclose to another person, and then maybe they won't like that. That's not the way it was growing up for my parents. It's not the way that it's not what I experienced in my teenage years. And now I haven't been there 12 years, and a lot can happen in that time. But it just feels like it's the culture, the heritage is crumbling a little bit in lieu of something new, immovable, rigid, and pretty negative as well too. So the Irish people are pretty happy-go-lucky and free flowing. It just feels like you can see it, a train crashing in real time, and I just got the hell out of there.
I don't blame you, man. Like I'm not like I'm not as bad off as you are in Ireland because my U.S. passport and like whatever people think of Donald Trump, like I mean, at least he closed the country's border, and at least there's some sort of respect for the country again, and we have rule of law again to some extent, right? And nothing's perfect, and I'm getting too old to think anything perfect is ever going to come along. But even though we're a little bit better off in some respects than you guys, it's a lot of the same shit. And like where I grew up in New York is a blue city, even if my neighborhood isn't a blue neighborhood. And we're affected by the policies. Housing is through the roof. It's the same issues: open borders, chaos of sanctuary cities. I mean, what would I pay $1 million in the neighborhood I grew up in for like a fucking row house? And now it's not even a neighborhood anymore, bro. It's all like people from other places and other states, and it's like whatever culture we had is pretty much fucking gone. So like, I don't have any real romantic feelings for the West either, to be honest. And where I see myself long term is more somewhere like the Balkans or somewhere in Eastern Europe, and then coming to Asia to do business. Do you think you'll spend the rest of your life in Asia, or you think you're going to invest somewhere else, or what are you thinking about your future?
If someone told me that I would spend the rest of my life here, I wouldn't be upset with that. The last time I was here 9 years ago, I was a lot younger. I was a lot more chaotic. I was a lot more into the party lifestyle. Now that I'm over here, my head is screwed on. I'm taking the teaching a lot more seriously. If I was able to open up my own language center or my own school, something like that, I would be pretty happy with that. Returning to Ireland doesn't seem like it's on the cards for me.
Yeah, and honestly, man, you know, that's a realistic goal.
I think with the way that things are here, they're so hungry for English. It's really fertile ground to try and have your own school. And I just think I've got a bit more mileage on my soul now, a bit more sense in my head. Thinking about things long term is probably the right thing to be doing. And yeah, I would love to open up my own place.
So education is a protected industry in Vietnam, so it's very difficult for a foreigner to open up a training center, but it's not impossible, and everything depends on capital. And of course, if you're married to a local, that makes things much easier. But like we discussed earlier, if you're married to a local and something goes south, you know, it is
Yeah.
going to be a struggle for you to get what's yours. So something just to keep in mind, not that it's impossible. There's a lot of different ways to achieve that goal. It's a realistic goal. So you came over, and at the moment you don't have a degree. Are you planning to get a degree and like continue teaching, or?
I would love to just continue teaching. If it gets to a point where it becomes a necessity to absolutely get one, then I will enroll and do one online in my spare time, which I have a lot of, thankfully.
That's good. Tell me about that. So what does your day look like compared to what you were doing in Europe? You were living in Holland. So what was your work day like there versus your work day like in Vietnam?
Oh, like so it was very classically like 9 to 5, commuting all the time, in the rain, out of the rain, on the tube. And then over here, I have afternoon classes, so I get a nice sleep in, and then I have my whole evening. Prep then for the next day typically takes like less than an hour. So you have so much free time to do other things. You can go out and meet your friends, you can go explore, and then you're still earning more than enough to keep food on the table and rent paid.
Oh, that's great. And was it like that in Holland?
Not particularly. So I would earn about 2,400 a month for working 40 hours a week. My rent was 1175, and I basically got like maybe 280 euros to spend a week, which is only 100 euros more than what welfare is in Ireland. Welfare in Ireland a week is 188 euros. So you have to be really uh, resourceful and frugal with your money if you want to save. But it's not the case over here.
Yeah, that's no quality of life. Like I first moved to Vietnam. We had been in China, and I didn't really like the vibe. It still felt too much like a police state. It felt too intense. And I ended up coming down and settling in Saigon and deciding this is where I was going to be. And within the first year, we were taking trips. We were going to places like Moyne, Dalat, Canta, and just jumping on buses and going places. In the States, to get away was so hard because you were always working and always hustling and always trying to make ends meet. The options that you have here, you're not going to get rich as a teacher, but it can really buy you some time, and it can open up doors for you that would be so much more difficult for you to get into yourself in a Western country.
Yeah, that's the truth. I wouldn't be able to do this over at home. Even in my own country, I would have to go to university for years just to be able to educate kids. And I've just been able to do it without a degree over here, just being able to walk into the classroom and feel like you're bettering their lives. It feels fantastic.
So, in terms of teaching, was there anything about it that surprised you? Tell us a little bit about the job you're doing now, the one we got for you.
So currently, yeah, I'm working at a primary school. The most noticeable thing about it is how many kids there are in the classroom. There's 50 plus kids in the classroom, so it can be kind of chaotic. But if you can cut your teeth there, you can teach anywhere. You're given a syllabus, you just follow that, you implement games, you are educational entertainment. It's really fun. You earn really well. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
And the company we linked you up with, they're getting you a work permit this year?
Yes, that's right. I have a 2 month probationary contract with them, and following a review and everything is okay, they'll begin that process for me.
So he came over, and how long did it take before we had you in a job?
Just a couple of days after you put me in touch with everyone, I got an interview, and they were like, "Okay, come over, let's see what you can do." So, but I wouldn't have been able to navigate that by myself without your help. I wouldn't know who is reputable, who is trustworthy, etc., without your service.
And have they been cool to work for? Is it pretty relaxed work? Are they on your back a lot?
I don't know. It's pretty relaxed. They kind of just they gave me the location, they told me the classes and the age, they sent me the syllabus, and they're like, "Okay, off you go." There was very little hand holding. So you kind of have to do a lot of it yourself, but After your first chaotic week, you'll really begin to find your rhythm. And yeah, it's been going fantastic for me.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear it. If you had one thing you wanted to tell someone from your home country, someone who's in Ireland, maybe, or even in Western Europe that's struggling and they're just really fed up with all the woke nonsense and the high cost of living and competing with illegal migrants for, housing, what kind of advice would you give to them?
Get in contact with you. Realize your money can be stretched further, and
Word
get your
up.
plane ticket. Yes, 100%. Your standards of what you're having now in your own country can be elevated to a much higher status if you come over here. And it can seem kind of scary, but hey, we're Irish. We emigrate. That's what we do.
That's very true. There is Irish everywhere in the world. There might as well be a couple of them in Vietnam.
Yeah, that's the truth. Plenty of Irish bars here, plenty of Irish people. It's just been fantastic, man. The weather there is so bad. Having the sun every day will brighten your soul up as well too. So, and the kids in the classroom are fantastic. They're adorable. You feel like you're bettering their lives. It's excellent over here. I'm always trying to tell people to come over.
I guess for me, I always try to be honest with people. Like, you're going to deal with pollution, you're going to deal with traffic, you're going to deal with some different business culture, some infrastructure problems. But if you're flexible, what you do have in Southeast Asia that you don't have at the moment in the West is you have that energy where people are optimistic and people are feeling like things are getting better.
Yeah, comparatively, like these people, the Vietnamese have very little in comparison to people in the first world, and yet, man, they feel a lot more content, a lot happier, a lot less stressed. Now they do work their asses off as well too, but they're happy to be out and about. Whereas a lot of people over in Western Europe are a bit maudlin. They're a little bit miserable. It's raining over there a lot. Over here, though, once you see their way of life and that they're happy, it makes you appreciate the things that you do have already.
And it goes to show you that a lot of these people in the West don't have any real problems, because a lot of the things they think are problems, if they had to live in a developing country, wouldn't even be, like, they wouldn't even have time to think about these things. They're too busy surviving. And I think that is a perspective that you can get from living in Vietnam that you can't learn in a classroom. You need to spend time and see how people live and get their perspective, because the stuff that these professors teach you in these commie universities is mostly bullshit. And I got to tell you, I went to them for a while and they tried force feeding a lot of that woke bullshit on me. And this is even going years back. But coming out here in the world, living in developing countries, doing business, starting my own business, kind of learning how the world operates and how different mindsets are in different parts of the world and how I fit into that. That changed my life, and it can change your life too. It's not a one stop solution for every individual, but it is something that you can do if you're open minded, if you're flexible, if you have a little capital, or even if you're young and you're just looking to do some teaching until you figure out your life. This can be a great pathway forward. So I just want to thank the big homie. Leave him with some final thoughts.
Guys, get on your laptop, consult Reborn Abroad, get over here to Southeast Asia, try out their service.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out, guys. Because Big Uncle speaks frankly, they definitely like to throttle me. So if you guys take a second to add my social media on Facebook, Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, wherever you want to follow us and help us by liking, subscribing, sharing the content. Help us by telling your friends, because it's very difficult in the travel expat consulting niche to be someone who speaks their mind and speaks plainly and has been around a little bit. There's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of people who are only trying to tell you like one side of the story. And Big Uncle doesn't want you to get hemmed up in a developing country. So Big Uncle likes to tell you plainly. YouTube doesn't always appreciate that, so they throttle us. And I've seen it a lot more recently. So if you guys have a moment, it only takes a second and it makes Big Uncle into a very happy bunny. Hit that like button. There's a new hype feature that YouTube's added. You can hype the videos. Check out our merch. I'm trying to come up with some new designs also, but we got some cool stuff up there too. Everything's in the link tree. Make sure you brush your teeth, stay in school, and hoo-ha up the rah.
Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Brush your teeth.
Reborn Abroad helped me retire in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Years later, we're still friends, so hit us up.
Reborn Abroad, they're legit. They got me a job. I'm pretty happy.
Reborn Abroad got me a job in Vietnam.
Reborn Abroad got me a job.
Brush your teeth.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. We help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do.